It is Monday, December 1st, 2025. I'm Grantham Taylor Hughes with my guest hosts, Vicki and Tony Smith. It's Smith since he had 5 sons. And we all named it Smith, so it's Smith since. So anyway, welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. And of course, we never know what we're going to talk about. We just wing it, folks. Think about it. It's all extemporaneous because we're geniuses. We don't need notes. We just talk about what's ever on the moment. No, it's in the moment. Get the right preposition there. There's 52 prepositions that are very important. People don't really appreciate what a preposition is. Let's go through some grammar here. It means you preposition your viewpoint. Now think about this. Microsoft only allows 3 prepositions, and then you have to add more if you want it in a sentence. But you appreciate the Charter of the United Nations has sentences with 10 prepositions in there. That means you spin around 3 times and then you're going, yes, like that. You know what I mean? You got to appreciate how ridiculous that is. I mean, really, 10 prepositions in a sentence? Well, there you go. See, so much for your grammar lesson today from Grantham Taylor Hughes, the eminent grammatist. He's written over 60 books and nobody's read any of them.
I just wondered how this tiny walnut in here can hold all this information.
Oh yeah, well, it's interesting. Well, it's a pass-through. It's a flow. You pick up the flow and you pass it through. It's just an electrical unit, the brain, you know. It stores things in engrams. The wrinkles in the brain are just records, like a record player. You know, the old record player had a stylus. So we just play those records in the grooves in the brain. Like in the embryo in the womb, it's a gel state already. And in the womb, the brain is almost smoothed out because they carry over engrams from incarnations. Yes, Grantham Taylor Hughes believes in reincarnation. Well, I've said that many times on the podcast, which is probably not brand new nowadays. People are getting used to that in the West. In the old days, it was kind of like woo-woo stuff, you know. Don't talk about reincarnation, except for 60% of the rest of the world believe in reincarnation. Only 40% don't. So they're a minority that don't believe in it. But it's becoming more popular, so it's not a really big deal in reference to that.
It's so important for our audience to realize that you are the pioneer of this methodology. You are the first person who's actually doing it.
Oh, thank you. Actually, I put a raccoon hat on as a pioneer, like Davy Crockett, right?
In your head,
a thin-skinned hat.
And it's worth mentioning, so the followers are not going to be going through this hardship, so to speak.
I appreciate you pointing that out, and it's true. I feel like this is my life's work. I suddenly realized recently that I should have been doing this a long time ago. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But, you know, we say in proper mortality, we live long and prosper, right? Yes, live long and prosper. Thank you, Spock. I appreciate that.
We will not be held responsible for any hearing impairments or damage caused to you from excessive exposure to this sound.
I think that perhaps there's 12 phases to it, but I'm only on the 6th page. Have you guys had made any more progress?
No.
Okay. It's pretty hard to do, isn't it?
Well, the rings of infinity are coming. That's where I am. But there was initially confusion with changing to a larger yantra. But now they're starting to solidify and move into position. So I'm happy with that.
Right, we can reiterate that too. The size of the yantra is 9 by 9 inches, and then you're supposed to be 18 inches away from it. That's an entity of proper mathematics and reference, because this is all precise stuff when you get right down to it. To make it happen, but initially to try to get to POTIKA, and POTIKA is portals of travel in the knowingness arena. It's one of my made-up words, neologisms. But it's very important because getting to POTIKA, it opens up the 144 portals that are vertically and horizontal in where we are right now. That's what we actually are in. However, we're in a portal in POTIKA. Right now, all three of us are in the singular portal, but it's in POTIKA. You see what I mean? So in order to see POTIKA, you have to open up the array of doorways. They look like doorways when you use a square mirror, but they're really circular. They're really portals. When you look on the inside, they're circular, and people don't have circular mirrors, so that's why you see them as doorways, rectangular doorways. There's 18 to the left in front of you, and there are 18 to the right, and to the rear, it's the same way. To the left rear side, there's 18, and to the right rear side, there's 18. So you can see there's 72 total on the parallel. Okay, but also in a mirror, I'm using my hand. If you're going this way in front of you, there's a vertical doorways too. Now in a mirror, there's no diagonals in a mirror, but you can get a top and bottom. See, that's why the mirror proves out what really exists in front of us. And people say, well, it's an optical illusion. Not really, it's just revealing what's the truth in front of us. I mean, when you appreciate that and look at the mirror technique, it's kind of exciting when you look at that's what we're really doing in the present. But we're also in one portal right now. So what we're trying to do in Eyesight Travel is to give back to people their ability to travel with the eyesight. And how do we do that? Well, and you were helpful with that, Tony, in the past, in reference to when we go to another portal. If we open up POTIKA and we go into a portal in front of the one we're in now, we'll know where we are. Because it's a knowingness arena, because then you won't be confused about where you are. So once you do that, there's another array that opens up. So it's pretty much unlimited, and because it's like a doll within a doll within a doll. It goes on and on. That's why they call it the multiverse or multi-universe, but at least we have a handle on what that's about. People talk about the multi-universe, but they don't explain it like we do. We have a method for getting that. You remember we were talking about blinking several weeks ago, and there's a sun gazing technique where you look at the sun, and to be able to see the sun, the brightness of the sun, you have to blink your eyes quickly because it's very bright. But then, Tony, remember we talked a couple of weeks ago that we really are toning down our own inner light, because my Tibetan Lama teachers were talking about that each individual is a minimum of 10,000 suns of power. So that's a lot of power. That's more than the power of the singular sun in front of us. So we're actually attenuating downward to be able to see the sun. So back to the blinking concept. The blinking concept allows us to go to extensive phases in the Yantra technique, separating the eye from the singular portal. Like we're in a singular portal right now that superimposes the two portals upon each other. And in that singular portal, we see where we are right now. But in order to go to the array in POTIKA, which is in the MDM, the Macy dust membrane, you like that MDM, right? Because we're in this big membrane that goes bigentillion miles to the sun. Bigentillion is 10 to the 63rd. So it's a huge membrane that we're within. So POTIKA, the array is really huge, the size of it. But that's not that important in reference to the size of it. But at least that's the distinction in terms of the mathematics. But the important part is to get to the POTIKA. We're creating a methodology that other people can gain this ability to travel with their eyes, because that's how we do travel. The way we get there is we look into the portal, and then it converges on itself. It does a divergence and then a convergence. See, right now we're in a 180-degree convergence. Yeah, go ahead, Tony. I can see it. Interrupt you. Lips are moving.
Yeah, I've just had an image come to me of the multiverse, and that it's basically like a big sea, and all these separate universes we can travel to are like bubbles, all self-contained bubbles in this big sea.
Yeah, they're in the MDM, but they look like portals. When you look at the two mirrors, they look like doorways, right? So that's just a way to explain it, really. It's semantics when you get right down to it. Because you're right, they are a bubble. It's another MDM that you're in, which is really the gene. It's a water droplet. The bubble is the inside of a water droplet. That's what we're in right now, is a water droplet. Genetics, they don't understand that the gene is just a water droplet, and they're analyzing a water droplet with electron microscopes and whatnot. And in reality, it's just colors, a prism inside a water droplet. They can leave all that alone. It's ridiculous. So they spend time and money on analyzing genetics, but it's an entire waste of time completely. It's just, we synthesize that on the Grantham Taylor Hughes show. Genetics has just been synthesized and it suddenly disappeared. Yeah, go ahead, Tony. Speak up, though, so I can hear you.
Yeah, I have seen some NASA evening rocket launches, and it appears as though you can see an actual splashdown in the sky. Actually looks like they're splashing up into the sky. After a while, it looks like they've hit water in the sky.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You can see kind of a moisture bubble type thing when you look
Yes.
peripherally. Yeah, you can see all these things. It's all there. And I appreciate the awareness of what we're observing is very important to be able to see a critical mass in reference to what we're talking about, because people really aren't paying even attention to their physical life with their eyes. They're mostly caught up in the mind level, the fourth plane. They're caught up in their mental state of thinking about stuff. They don't really look and see. When you look at people, rarely eyeball you. They're looking around or looking interiorly. You got to look right in the third, they call it the third eye, to be able to see peripherally into the pupils. It's a triangulation. So in order to see directly into a person's soul, you have to look into the forehead to be able to see. So people don't do that. They don't even know how to do that. Most people, when you're looking at somebody and talking to somebody, they're shifting from eye to eye, back and forth real quick. They look in one eye and look to the left. They don't know how to look into both at the same time. You can't do that unless you have the methodology of looking in the center to look peripherally. It's the same idea in Yantra. We're looking peripherally. We're moving our eyes out straight. We're going from this way and moving the eyes out slowly this way. I wouldn't bring this up all the time, but it's very important work. It's probably the most important work to give back the skill to people. I mean, people are doing it already, but they don't know how to, they don't have a method for it. See, people are getting off, they call it psychotic breaks and all this business because, you know, they say, well, I'm in another world, and psychology would call that schizophrenia or something like that. A lot of nonsense involved with that, because it's just a skill that we need to bring back to people that they've lost over a long period of time. I think we're very unique in reference to bring back this skill. I mean, it's pretty exciting when you think about it. People get on board with this. I talk to people in the marketplace all the time about, I'm studying time travel. They get all excited because they know in their heart of hearts that they have this skill, so they get on board with this right away. We get into really good conversations, and people get very excited. We live in a very exciting time right now. It truly is.
Yeah, I think one of the things I've learned is to think about the information you've given me, and then I can actually observe it. So when we were talking about curved space and the rainbow, and the DNA being the colours in the rainbow, you can actually observe these things yourself.
Yeah, see, it's a prism. All the colors in between. Remember we talked about chiaroscuro. It is a method in art. In between this white light and this dark color, there's a prism of colors. It's the prism that's made manifest in terms of things and stuff. But it's just all the colors between the whitest white and the darkest dark. When the sun's out and it rains, what do you see? A rainbow, right? Where does the rainbow come from? From a water droplet's prism. Nobody's articulating this simple fact, right? I can't find any reference to it at all. Why there's a rainbow? Because the water droplet has a prism of colors between chiaroscuro and the darks and the lights, all the lights within the prism. I mean, think about how fundamental that is, and how people don't have that fundamental. Just like POTIKA is fundamental, but they don't have it. I mean, people are trapped in our singular portal, albeit they're not really, but again, they don't have a methodology. We're trying to create a methodology, like Steve says, our other co-host who's not here today. You should be able to sit down and get directly to POTIKA without going through the phases of Yantra. In that process, I'm kind of pioneering it to get to POTIKA to create the method. How does that help society if you don't teach somebody? They talked about the Bodhisattva in India. The Bodhisattva in ancient times, he gained enlightenment and then jumped over the wall and told the rest of the society. You know, he gained the enlightenment in the monastery, right? Okay, but he was he was a very giving soul, but now the Bodhisattva is just like everybody else, a cosmic conscious guru. They don't really know anything. They proclaim things, they talk about things, but they miss a lot of detail. And we try to give as much detail as possible about subject matter criteria. So I think we give more detail than other motivators, albeit they have a thread of truth, but I always say we have the Golden Fleece. Thank goodness we're going to cover Grantham with a blanket now, the Golden Fleece. Hi there.
Oh, hello.
Do you have anything you'd like to say before you condemn you to death, before we execute you? Do you have any last words?
What advice would you give to a new time traveler?
I mean, if you've already got into another portal, they're already there. They'll know what's going on. Well, I mean, the advice is, that is the advice, enjoy yourself. The recommendation really is to probably go to the right portal. See, if you go to the left portal, it's a negative portal. It doesn't mean it's evil or anything, but it's just a negative polarity. There's a tendency to go on more of a negative side. It's more alkaline. It's more of a dramatic type affair versus positive, which is more of a warmth type thing. I mean, it really doesn't have those values when you get right down to it. But the recommendation is go to the right. I'm always saying go to the right, not necessarily conservative politics. Yes, he's the right. He goes to the right. He's conservative. He must be Republican. No, I didn't really mean that. I meant to go to the right. In the array of portals open up in POTIKA, you probably should go to the right. I'm recommending that. Once you get the method, but we've got to get to the method, see. I mean, that takes a lot of work, and I'm kind of pioneering it and spending all my time and energy to try to do that, because I think I was born to do that, by the way. I have a strong feeling I was the one to bring back this method, which I find a big responsibility when you think about it. At the same time, very important work. And people want this badly because, like I said, it'll be a lot of fun once people can get on board with it. People don't really know the negativity and the positivity in the portal. So when you make that distinction between the two, now you can see clearly what issues are in your life. They used to call that the tone scale. When you had a problem with a concept or an idea that's troubling you, they would say on the inside, you look at the picture of the problem you're having, and then you separate it and make two pictures on the inside. So this is already in the tone scale. And what you do is when you see the problem separated, you're seeing the negative and the positive, and you see the problems on the left. And what happens, the essence of what you do when you converge it back, it gets rid of the issue because you're recognizing. The essence of what you do will recognize the issues, and the issue goes away. Why I stammer around, it's not really my native language, what I'm talking about here. Here's my native language. You knew I was going to get to this, right? Does Grantham Taylor Hughes speaks in tongues? That's my native language. That's why I stammer around and do that, because I'm really trying to speak my native language. I'm working really hard to speak this logical language. I've been doing it for a number of years. I'm really not an expert at it, because you can't be an expert at a auxiliary country logic, because it's a complete and utter failure. Oh, okay, there we go. Well, you got to learn a sacred language. You got to realize the native language is what children have when the babies babble. But that's a language. That's our native language. And the proof is when you speak to infants in the marketplace, they'll reply, they'll respond to you. So that's one of the ruinations we bring back. We've talked about the 3 ruinations on our calls. Well, first is they take away the language, they take away your travel, and they take away your life. And that means we're giving back mortality, proper mortality, to live well beyond 100 years and look good. See, so that's what we're bringing back to the physical plane, where we're bringing back and helping to unruinize people. Is that right? Irruinization? Irruinization. That's a good word I just made up. Neologisms on Grantham Taylor Hughes Show. So we appreciate the fact that if we get to the native language, is a higher era. We talk about getting to the golden age. It's the golden age language when you get right down to it. But people can do it anytime they want. And anytime you use it, it moves towards a higher knowingness arena. Like All this in terms of POTIKA being in the knowingness arena, the portals, all the skills and what have you, get to like a higher era. Not necessarily a higher consciousness, but a higher era in terms of a golden age and skills that we would have in a golden age. Like what we talk about here could be pre-golden age information. To the left of me, I have an array of Golden Fleece coats on a rack over here. We're selling them inexpensively. They're only $10,565,666 and 23 cents. It's very inexpensive. It's
I'll
only
take
$10 million. Okay, I'll have them delivered immediately. All right, we're not devoid of humor on the Grantham Taylor Hughes show. In fact, we're mostly comedians out of work. And nobody will hire us because we slay them in the aisles. See, the young kids don't know that slogan, right? What do you mean by slaying them in the aisles? That's not very nice. No, it's an old joke about you do well on stage. The comedians slay them in the aisles. Or they kill on stage, right? He killed, right? The entertainment jargon, yeah.
They can also die on stage, can't they?
Die on stage, right, exactly. And then you're reduced to the cosmic ooze. You're just some gel on the stage. He melted, like the Wizard of Oz, the Witch of the West. I'm melting. Oh, what a world! What a world! See, it's your fault. You guys bring out this comedic side in me. See, that's the entity we create. It's very comedic flair because at the heart of everything, we're a happy entity. Everybody's very happy at the heart of it. All right, don't just sit back there and do nothing, Vicky. Get into the fray.
I have a feeling that we are losing people on the subject of knowingness because a lot of probably the young generation, trained by cinematography or stories of time traveling, walking into the telephone booth and having this machine around them. Because with the time travel, it's kind of like for them it has to be a machine because what else possibly it can be? It's everything else is like a magic.
Yeah, that's right. Truly is. Yeah, there was a movie, The Cable Guy with Jim Carrey, and he got up on the big array and he's going, the possibilities are endless. Okay, but then again, see, you brought up the fact of let's talk about what knowingness is about, because people say, well, I don't get that. And the irony is, and you don't have to really explain knowingness. You just suddenly know these things. See, that it's like on our inside. We know things on the inside, but we're not talking about our inside. And people want to talk about what they know. Remember, we had discussed in the past, like there's a self-realization. You make a connection in our voice, okay? Because we're self-realized people. We have this tremendous knowingness arena, and people want to articulate, hey, I know this and I know that. They want to have space to do it, but nobody's listening because everybody's going to work, right? You gain your own discovery of your own self, you see? And that's what it's about, this grand discovery of people's inside, which is pretty much endless. I'll sing a song. Fairy tales will come true, it can happen to you. Frank Sinatra, eat your heart out, buddy. Well, he sings really slowly, too. It would be like this. Fairy tales will come true, it can happen to you. I mean, for people to hear that nowadays, you're going, hurry up, Frank.
No, but you could hear all the words.
Oh yeah, well, it's extreme enunciation. You become a professional singer when you extremely enunciate. That's how you do that. Fairy tales.
That would wake people up, Grantham. You weren't paying attention.
Yeah, there you go.
Now you are.
Oh my, that's funny stuff, right? I think so. Don't you agree?
I do.
People who come on a show, that's funny stuff. So I stole a line from Johnny Carson.
On one of the things, a lad was talking about the flux capacitor, wanting to know if anyone had got one.
Well, the flux capacitor, they have fuel. Ours is a fuelless flux capacitor, no fuel. So theoretically, we haven't manifested the prototype yet. That's very expensive. We got to spend several $1 trillion to create the prototype. So it is in the works, but it has no fuel. It's a capacitor without fuel.
It would be a part of a time machine in future.
Well, no, not really, because it's in our portal. See, if we create the relostatic machine, we'll be flying around a portal. Now, I don't know if you could take the machine into the portal because we're traveling with our eyes. But if you go into another portal, they may have advanced technology in there. Well, and that's a good question, really. But I don't think you can take an instrument with you when you travel in POTIKA. You're traveling with your eyesight. But if you go into another portal, there may be advanced technology. The relostatic machine might be there. I mean, you could actually probably affirm that. You agree with that?
I do. Yeah, I
Okay.
do.
See, Back to the Future had a thread of truth with that too. But the problem is you don't put fuel in it. See, it's fuelless. In other words, the fuel would be the air that's around you. It's flowing freely through the capacitor, and you're utilizing the air. Just like when we talk about breatharianism, we're utilizing the air as like an air sandwich. Oh, it tastes really good. I'll take a bite out of the air. That was really good.
Yeah.
Same idea that the fuel of our yantra is light too. It's all about light, the light that's around us, the chiaroscuro light and sound that's around us. We're using that as fuel in the relostatic machines that we're creating. We have it. We just haven't created a prototype. That's the answer to that.
Right. I just it just brought an image then of the aurora borealis. I think it's in the ionosphere, and I'm thinking, well, there's all that electricity up there. Why haven't we tapped into it?
Well, that's what we're trying to do. See, that's all the prism of colors. The aurora borealis is showing the inside of the membrane. See,
Right.
yeah, that's what that is. Just you're seeing the prism work of the colors in the Macy dust membrane. The reason why we call it Macy dust, my sister has a parrot, and she had said to me that in the bottom of the cage of the parrot, there's this dust that appears. I went, what? What does that mean? The dust, right? So that spurred me on that we're all emanating dust all the time. So we're all made out of dust particles. And I went, my goodness.
And I think a lot of people recognise this, that I can remember when I was younger going into an old barn and the sunlight was flooding in, shafts of sunlight coming in, and floating around in the sunlight was little dust motes.
Oh, yeah,
you know.
it's interesting when you see a light beam going into a room, like a fairly dark room or through a window, you can see dust particles in the air. I always wondered about that as a child, and then now we're talking about it. That's really the MDM, the dust that's spinning around, and we're all made of dust, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. You see what I mean? So we're all made out of this dust, you see? So it's all spinning around. We're in a spinning vortex on a constant basis. And that's why we're trying to get this information out to help people cope with proper intelligence, proper information, because it'll help people to gain some balance and right machination, maybe. I mean, it's not just me, folks. Tony, you've helped a great deal. Vicki, you have too. You know, in terms of the blinking, you reminded me, our good friend Wynn Elliott brought up the Yantras many years ago to me, which was really the GPS for POTIKA. It's a global positioning system of the Yantra to be able to get to this. So all these things we talk about are very advanced thinking. It's pre-Golden Age stuff. And then, Vicki, you brought the Golden Age to the table a few years ago when you said the Golden Age is coming, because I needed to hear that. Because it is. And ironically, the cell phone is spurring it forward, making it come faster, because people are putting their attention on the Bindu. You know, that's really what that is. In the movie, they have all these black rectangles going into Jupiter. And they look just like cell phones, but they're supposed to be small monoliths, or just big monoliths, because the monolith on the moon in 2001, A Space Odyssey, was a pretty big monolith. But if you look at the monolith, it looks like a cell phone to me.
Yeah,
I mean, think about how advanced that was in terms of that film. They saw all the cell phones going into this pitch dark Jupiter, and then in novas, into light. Remember we talked about light comes from pitch dark. See, that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
So it was right there in the film. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, another movie's come up, Stargate, when you were talking about advanced civilization. So there seems to be, like you said, a little golden thread in everything.
Yes, that's right. Well, that's it.
Yeah.
So we're here to glean that golden thread through everything, and then we hit on it and create the fleece. This is Grantham Taylor Hughes. Thank you, my co-host. We were talking about the Smith-Simpson twins. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. And have a great day, and bye for now.